Hare Krishna. So, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita discussion on the Sarartha Varshini Tika and the sub-commentary to Sarartha Varshini, which is the Rasikaranjan Tika of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yesterday, we began with the 18th chapter, a very, very important. Of course, every chapter in the Bhagavad Gita is very important, but here everything Krishna is summarizing. So, yesterday we covered one section. I'll just recap that because we get the flow very clearly. So the chapter is Moksha Yoga or Prapatti Yoga. Prapatti is surrender. Or uh, Prabhupada says moksha is the perfection of renunciation. Mm. So the first section we saw, of course, we have not completed the first section yet, the Karma Yoga. And Arjuna's question we saw how this is coming. Actually, it's all connected to 3.1, 5.1, and ultimately to the 17th chapter, because by saying Om Sat Sat, they renounce the sannyasis to attain liberation. So in that context, what is the difference, technical difference between Tyag and sannyas? So we discussed quite a bit about, the connection. One second. Let me. Yeah. The connection from chapter 17 to 18, also for the entire summary from chapter. You can see the instructions begin from the third chapter. So 2 to 17. The question is connected in one sense. So we saw that. So yesterday we have seen that. Those who could not join yesterday, they can go through the recording. And then how our Vedic education spiral, going deeper, deeper into it. So 18.1 is that question. And then we saw how a sannyasi has to give up kama karma completely. Kamyanam karmanam nyasa sannyasa kavayo vidu. Whereas the tyagi, he can do kama karmas, but sarva karma phala tyaga. He has to give up the results. That's why kings, they used to rule the kingdom, but when Dashrath, Vashisht Muni came, Dashrath gave the entire kingdom back to Vashisht. Because, and Vashisht gave it back to Dashrath, saying that, I am appointing you as on behalf of me as a you rule it as a duty. So that's so I've just inserted this, Tyag versus Sannyas, two types of karma, Nitya karma and Kami karma. Of course, the Nimitta karma is not mentioned here, but you can include that also. So, you know, sannyas means to give up kama karma, not nitya karma. And tang means do both nitya and kama karma, but without attachment. So that's what yesterday we saw. And then others' opinion, tyagam doshavadityeka, something that there is dosha, so that's why you give up karma altogether, even nitya karma, you know. And some say yagya dhyana tapa karma, you should not give it up. And then he gives his opinion. Nishchitam shunu me tatra. Tyaga, Tage, about Tyaga, Bharat Sattama, who best among the Bharats. Tyago Purush Vagra, Trivida Prakriti. The Tyag is of three types, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And then before going into Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, he gives his opinion that Yagya, Dhyana, Tapa, and Karma, na Tyajam. You know? But it should be performed since they purify even the wise. Okay, let me see how it is. One second. Bhagavad Gita 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. 18.56. 6. Yajna, dana, tapa, karma. So there are yajna karma, dana karma, and tapa karma. Just a minute. Give me a minute, please. Yeah. So there is yajna karma, dana karma, tapa karma. Na tyajam. One should not give up. It should be performed. Karyam eva. It has to be, it is my kartavya to do it. Because pavanani manishin. So this is what Krishna said. And etani api kurvani. Etani api to kurvani. Karmani, sorry, not kurvani. Karmani. Etani means all this yagya. But how? Sangam tattva phalanchik. Kartavyani iti me partha nishtam matam uttamam. So one should be from the misconception of the doer, Sangam Tektva, and Tektva Falani, without longing for the results. So this is his opinion. So after giving his opinion, then Krishna begins, the Tyag or Sannyas in Tamas. Now Tyag and Sannyas have the same meaning, although he has distinguished the difference, but he gives the same meaning here. There is three types of Tyag. Tamasic Tyag, rejecting Nitya karmas, is tamasic tyag. And the sannyasi can reject kami karmas since they are not obligatory, but Nitya karmas are not to be rejected. So sannyasi, it is mentioned. So then we saw the dukkha iti eva yat karma kaya klesha bhaya tyajam na kritva rajasam tyagam naivan tyagam phalam labhe. So kaya klesha, I just wanted to mention here in 17.56, don't trouble the body unnecessarily because Paramatma is also situated this demonic austerity, what is mentioned. And in 18.8, the emphasis is don't give up duty due to fear of trouble for the body. So, how do you now reconcile this? Is accept bodily trouble when it is necessary for the sake of duty. So, that's how we infer this. And then the sattvic tyag, we saw this also, without sense of devotion and the desire for the results. And it is done as a niyatam karma, obligatory action. So this is sattvic tyag. So this is where we ended our discussion. So there are two more verses with respect to this, which we will take up now. And Veer Krishna Prabhu has a question. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, with reference to verse 18.9, Sangam Tekta Phalam Chaiva, Prabhu, this Sattvic Tatyaga, how it should be seen from perspective of sadhana bhakti? I mean, how it should be applied in. Essentially, we see these are basically part of Niskam Karma Yoga. But what is
See, first of all, the most important principle we need to understand. Okay. The most important principle we need to understand is that Bhagavad Gita first six chapters are Karma Yoga, last six chapters are Jnana Yoga, the middle six chapters are Bhakti Yoga. But for one who's practicing Bhakti Yoga, middle six chapters are important. We have to understand, we have to practice Shuddha Bhakti and become free from the Mishra Bhakti. But yeah, I'll bring out that point also, very important. In karma, there is, actions, there is actions, but there is, attachment to the results, that will cause bondage. In jnana, there is no action, and, one seeks liberation, which is not the natural state of the soul in one sense. But bhakti integrates both karma and jnana. It's like synthesis, That's what. Wait, let me share that slide and you will get a much. Actually, 1 second. Let me see whether I can find that concept. Just a minute. Is it gone? Mhm. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah. I'm just putting it here. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen now. The first thing what Bhakti synthesizes karma and jnana. In karma, there is natural senses need engagement, but it is binding. This is thesis. In jnana, you know, it is liberating, but it is unnatural. But bhakti is naturally liberating. So like that. So similarly, the karma yoga section, uh, from the bhakti context, you can favorably apply those principles. Although the fifth chapter and the last six chapters are speaking about jnana, but those verses you can see from the bhakti context. So similarly, in bhakti, there is karma, action, and we do that action which is natural for the soul, but we follow the principles that it should not be binding. That's why karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, like that. So while I'm doing, devotional activities, I should not be attached to the results of the fruits. So that's how we can apply this. I hope it's clear, right?
Yes, Prabhu. And Prabhu, one more doubt, Prabhu. Uh, here, here we see that
Yeah, yeah.
Sangam Tikta Falanicha. I mean, you have to doing
Yeah,
duty
you can
without any
ask. I'm not
attachment.
able to hear you. Maybe there is some problem
Uh,
with the audio on your side.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Now it is okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Now I'm able to hear you.
Prabhu, now uh, when we see the verse Sarv Dharman Parityajya verse and this current verse, so Prabhu, can we relate something because there we talk of, uh, I mean, doing these kind of, whatever duties on Varnashram level, those are things to be given up. And here, of course, this is talking about Niskam Karma Yoga. So I was just thinking ki,
Yeah, I
uh,
got your point. See, I
mhm,
got your point. I could understand your point. See, basically, there's a gradual evolution happening. To come to that Sarvadharma Parityajya is a very high level of consciousness. But we begin by giving up a little bit the fruits of our work in the form of, offering the fruits of the work to, in the form of giving some donations or, for Krishna's purpose for propagating. And then higher levels, there is a discrimination you do that, I am doing my work, you know,
mm,
and this is my results which I'm offering.
mm,
But at a higher level, I'm working for Krishna. This is Krishna's work and offering the entire work only for Krishna. You're getting this point.
mhm,
So, that's why Krishna has gradually built up now. From the second chapter, the teachings he has built up and he has come to 18 chapter. Now, although we might study the Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, but as we advance in our consciousness, we have to go through these different levels. So Bhagavad Gita is also a sadhana which we need to study, and gradually evolve and go to higher states of consciousness. Hope it's
right.
clear.
Yes, bro. I could. Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. Any other devotees have any questions before we begin the session today? So, yeah, so this is what where we ended. 10. न द्वेष्टि अकुशलम कर्म कुशले न अनुसज्जते त्यागी सत्व समाविष्टो मेधावी चिन्ह संशय. Medhavi Tyagi, wise, renounced. Tyagi, Medhavi means one who has brain or one who has intelligence, situated in Sattva. Sattva Samavishta, devoid of doubt. Chinna Samshaya, does not hate uncomfortable duties. Na Dveshti Akushala Karma. So, uh, Krishna had also spoken about this in one sense because this is summarization of Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita 5.3 or 4, I think. गेहि च नित्य सन्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न कांक्षति निर्द्वंदो हि महाभावो सुखम बध्नात् प्रमुच्यते. So gehi cha nitya sannyasi is a nitya sannyasi who na dveshtati na kamshati and is beyond this duality. So similarly you can say na dveshtati akushalam karma and kushale na anusadati. This is comfortable for me, so I will engage. This is not comfortable for me, I will not engage. So don't be under this dualities. So 5.3 also here spoken. But now, after speaking about, Tyag in the three modes, he is now speaking of one who is a Tyagi in the Sattva, who is Samavishta. So like that, he doesn't make this discrimination. That's what. Okay, I like to give class because all the arrangement is there and I give class. But there, in the kitchen or in the toilet there is some dirt, I'm not, I feel this is also same karma. There is no difference between the two. It's all same. So that's why this looks kushal, so I'll do it. This, cleaning the toilets, it's a kushal karma. They are uncomfortable duties. So, I hate them. And these are comfortable, I prefer. So that's not, you know, uh, that's what a wise enunciate who is situated, we should not have this doubt. That's what Vishwanath Thakur is saying here. This verse describes the characteristic of one fixed in such sattvic tyag. So, what are the characteristics of sattvic tyag? So, if you remember, again, because everything is being summarized, Krishna spoke about, the symptoms. Oh, sorry. The symptoms of one who has transcended the three modes. Na dveshti sampravrittani प्रकाश प्रवृत्तिश्च मोहम एव च पांडव न द्वेष्टि संप्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि कांक्षति. So I think this is 14.18. No, here it is 22. प्रकाशम च प्रवृत्तिम च मोहम एव च पांडव न द्वेष्टि संप्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि कांक्षति. So, Prakash is the mode of goodness, Pravritti is the mode of passion, and Moha is the mode of ignorance. Na dveshti sampravrittani. When any of these, goodness, passion, and ignorance comes, he is transcendental here. But here is sannyas in the sattva it is. That's why sattva, which he likes, he is favorable, and tamas, which he doesn't like, is unfavorable. That's why the only two are made here because it is transcendental to all the three modes. So that's why all the three modes. When sattva comes, na deshti sampravrittani. And when somebody comes and criticizes, let him go away. Na nivrittani kankshati. Udasina vadasina. He was gunyor na vichaliti. So these are the symptoms of somebody who is transcended the three modes. So these are similarly the symptoms of one who has, uh, situated in sattvic tyag. So that is what Krishna is making here the point. Because again, here it's karma. Karma is, not transcendental. He's still not transcendent because only in the jnana process, when he gets liberated, he transcends. Akushalam means those activities which bring suffering to the body, such as bathing during winter. Kushala means those activities which are pleasurable for the body, such as bathing during summer. So he gives some example. Another important point is Tyaga Phala is what? Purification and illumination. Misery can be an initial spur, but not a sustainer for renunciation. We might, join, uh, spiritual life so that, we mitigate the misery. But that can be initially there, but it is not sustaining. And the only sustainers are philosophical conviction and devotional attraction in bhakti, at least. So this should come somewhere else. I mentioned in the previous verses, but I'm just bringing out this point. Renunciation is not lack of ambition, but a superior ambition. Tyaga Sattvic. Renounce not because the world offers is too tough, but it is too little. In material life, the pleasure is not worth the trouble. In spiritual life, the happiness is worth whatever trouble is required. So that's how, renunciation is not lack of ambition, but super ambition. Why to take so much trouble for such a small, meager pleasure? You're getting so much trouble, misery. So it's not worth it. It's not worth the trouble. But in spiritual life, you need to try because it's worth it. Ultimately, Somo Amrit Tattvaya Kalpate, you'll get eternal bliss, eternal body, eternal happiness, no more birth, death, and old age disease. Okay. 10, 11. 18, so not 18, 11. न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषत यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी स त्यागित्य अभिधीयते. As it is not possible for one with body, न हि देहभृता shakyam. Shakyam means it's not possible. One who's dehabhrata, one who's having a body, to give up all actions completely. Tektum karmanya asheshata. Asheshata means completely. So it's not possible for one who has a body, you know, uh, to give up, actions. He who gives up the result of action, yes, to karma phala tyagi, is considered a tyagi. Sa tyagi iti abhidhiyate. So people become surprised, Are you have renounced everything and you have taken sannyas or you're taken to spiritual life, you have renounced material, you know, actions to enjoy in this world. But sometimes we jokingly say, "Oh, you are a greatest renunciant because you have renounced God only." So, in one sense, it is not possible for a Dehabrata to give up actions completely, but it is possible to give up results of actions, and he's considered as a Tyagi. So, do no work, because you have to give up the results of actions. So then why work? You know, where is the motivation to work? So I'll not do any work. But do no work also is, that is also a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of work. So there are sometimes these self-contradictory statements. I don't exist. You are saying that I don't exist, but you are existing. No? Yeah. So like that, trying to escape, it's not easy. So I, I'm attached to the results. So give up the results of your work completely. Why to work then? I'll not work only. But that I'll not work also is a tamasic person who is just sitting idly, you know, it requires great potency to, not to do anything, and just sit in one place. You know. A sattvic person also does sitting in one place spiritual activity, and that is also requires great potency. Okay. Therefore, actions ordained by scripture should not be given up. This is the reason. Because it is not Shakyam, Karmani Asheshata, who is Devabrata. It is not possible for one with the body to give up activities. Shakyam is used in the proper word Shakyani. The Lord has already said that it is not for a moment can a person remain without doing action. Nahi kashit kshanamapi jatu tishta karmat. So, like that, summarizing the third chapter also is here. Okay. Now, from the actions which are done, there are three types of results. No? Anishtitam mishtitam mishram cha trividam karmana phalam bhavati atyaginam pretya na tu sannyasinam kvachit. Those who do not renounce in the prescribed way, atyaginam, you know. So again, I have mentioned here, tyag and renounce have been now, sannyas have been, again, they have the same meaning around here. So those who don't renounce in a prescribed way get results in the form of hellish suffering, heavenly enjoyment, and human birth. Anishtitam means hellish, and ishtam means heavenly, and mishram is human birth. Human birth is, mixed happiness and misery. Only misery is hellish, and only happiness is heavenly. That's why earth realm is always a mixture. This is not so for one who renounces in a correct manner. Na tu sannyasina pachit. So he doesn't get these results. So that's why he can get attained liberation in one sense. He doesn't get the results. Otherwise, if you work with results, you will get either of these three sufferings. So in the heavenly planets, it's difficult to practice bhakti because of the unlimited pleasure. You can practice, but the pleasures are so much, you know, it deviates our, determination to practice bhakti, so much of enjoyment. In the hellish planets, there is so much suffering that you cannot, it's like quite dark there. There's too much of light, too much enjoyment. But here in the material world, there is sometimes light, sometimes dark. So you can feel the misery that I should get out, It's always, if the light is blinking, it's very disturbing. So, and if you're always in dark, you get used to it. You're always in light, you're used to it, So too much of material happiness in the heavenly planets is not favorable to bhakti. It's not easy to practice. Too much of misery also. So these are the results. Here I am speaking. I'm just sharing. The fault of not following the process of Tyaga is described in this verse. Those who do not renounce in the prescribed way get results in the form of suffering of hell, anishtam, the pleasures of swarga ishtam, and human birth, mishram, in the next life. Preta. Preta means in the next life. Okay, so this I just inserted while describing Bir Prabhu's word. Explanation how karma bhakti integrates both karma and jnana. So the next section is from 13 to 17, the Gyan of the Karma Yogi. One. This is one part, 5 factors of action. So before we start this section, if you have any questions, can take it up. We have finished this discussion, this section. What is the Gyan of the Karma Yogi? Any questions, any clarifications you have? No. Okay. So if you remember, I was mentioning now, let's a little bit, because we are summarizing everything, I'm going a little slow also. The Gyan of the Karma Yogi. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita 2.47, uh, Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means Nishkam Karma Yoga, I have to see. When Nishkam Karma Yoga matures, it is called as Jnana Nishta. We had seen that. And this is 2.53, I think. 5.4 is Arjuna's question, 5.5 is Krishna's answer. So he begins with the Gyan. The Karma Yogi does karma with knowledge. 2 factors we had mentioned. One is he gives up the fruit, and then the doership. Because ultimately he knows that there are higher factors involved, in accomplishing results. There is God factor also. So this is what we had studied. And, you know, uh, in the fourth chapter, this is the second chapter. In the third chapter, he gives further gyan, you know, how, karma doesn't bind. I'm not just 3.9, and then he spoke about, how karma doesn't bind in 3.15 to uh, 19, I think. Not 15 to 19, sorry. Let me, I'm also not 15 to 19. How Karma Yoga elevates, sorry, it is 3.31 to 35. The difference between Karma Kand and Karma Yoga is this. So Karma Yoga elevates, basically he gave the knowledge also of, yeah, how Karma Yoga elevates basically. And then I'm just rubbing this. Of course, how to do karma for, so that you don't get bound. Yagyartha Karmana Netra. And then Krishna spoke about how Karma Yoga elevates, 3.31 to 34. Then Arjuna asked the 35, I think. Arjuna asked the question in 36, 37 on, no, 35 he asked the question. No, yeah, correct. 36 he asked the question. 36 he asked the question. 37 onwards. In Karma Yoga, there is lust, which is, and then how by Gyan, 3.42 and 43, Krishna spoke. And in the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, focuses more on that Gyan. Nahi Gyanena Sadrisham Pavitram Iha Vidyate, you know. And he spoke about, these three types of karma, akarma, you know, and then how karma yoga, how do by doing a karma you gradually elevate and attain Brahman. So that was from 4.19 to 24. So there is Gyan in Karma Yoga. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, you know, the Gyan of the Karma Yogi was more spoken in terms of three doers. There are three doers, you know, what's happening. There are three doers, 5 point, 5.13 to 15. And then uh, this was spoken. Now, in summarizing in here in this chapter, Krishna in this section 13 to 17, how there are doers of action. There are what are the factors by which action is accomplished, and how you can develop that non-doership. Three doers are mentioned. How to develop that non-doership? More he focuses on in this section. So let's go to this section, the Gyan of the Karma Yogi. There are five factors of action. Okay. Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Dimodame Sankhe Kritante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. So further that knowledge, Gyan, and how, he's mentioning, there are five factors. Oh, Almighty Armed One, Mahabhavu. Now, Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Mahabhavu. Learn from me, Nimodame. That means use your mighty intelligence now to understand. The five factors, Panchaitani Karanani, necessary for completion of action. Siddhe Sarva Karamanam, which is mentioned in the Vedanta. Sankhya Proktani, which speaks about destruction of karma. Krit ante. Ante means to, by which you can destroy. But how can doing action not give karma results? So now the deeper understanding. You're doing actions, but how it is not giving results because there is a sense of non-doership. You know? So that's why, so with knowledge, when it is done like that, then there is no result. In order to establish that there is no contamination of karma when performing actions, without false identification, the Lord speak 5 verses. So from 5 verses, Krishna is going to speak about it. So Bhagavad Gita 18 point 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's why 13 to 17. For the completion, siddhe of all actions, know these 5 factors from my words. May. Sankhya means to speak. Kya. Kya means to speak. Khyati or khyayate. Directly, samyak, about the Paramatma. Samyak rupena khati is Sankhya, to speak directly about Paramatma. So that's another meaning of Sankhya. Kya and Samyak, to speak directly about Paramatma. These 5 causes are mentioned in the Vedanta scriptures. Sankhya. Sankhya is this, and Sankhya means it is spoken in the Vedanta, whose purpose is to destroy karma. Kritante. And the purpose of Vedanta is to destroy karmas. The 5 causes are mentioned in the Vedanta. So in Vedanta, it is mentioned. Now Krishna is explaining, the Bhagavad Gita. I'm just making this very important point. Uh, how many? Okay, let me put this question. Bhagavad Gita, is it Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, or a Nyaya Prasthan? How many? What is your thoughts? Who would like to answer? Is it a Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, or a Nyaya Prasthan? I hope you know the Prasthanatraya. Shruti Prasthan, within the Shruti Prasthan, there are the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yadur, Sama, Atharva, and Upanishads also, which are the Vedanta, conclusion of the Vedas. In the Smriti Prasthan, there are the Itihasas and Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and within the Mahabharata is the Bhagavad Gita. In the Nyaya Prasthan, there is Vedanta Sutra. So whether Bhagavad Gita is Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, or Nyaya Prasthan. Yes, Navneet Kalra Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. It's Shruti in Smriti.
It is a Shruti within the Smriti. Okay, quite good. Okay, Chakrama Prabhuji, what is your answer?
Yes, Mataji said the same thing. I go with Mataji, what she said.
Okay,
Shruti with the
okay,
Smriti.
wonderful. So the Bhagavad Gita, it is a Shruti Prasthan. It is a Smriti Prasthan, and it is also a Nyaya Prasthan. Now, why it is so? Let me explain. Bhagavad Gita is called as Gita Upanishad. So, Upanishad. It is the essence of Shruti, correct? And Bhagavad Gita technically falls in the Smriti category because it is part of Mahabharata. But as it was mentioned, you are correct, because it is directly spoken by the Lord, it is a Shruti within the Smriti. So in one sense, it is actually in the Smriti Prasthan category because it is Bhagavad Gita. So, it is Smriti Prasthan. And why it is Nyaya Prasthan also? It is because in summary, the Vedanta Darshan is also given here. And we saw this Vedanta Darshan in this verse, Bhagavad Gita 18.13, based on Vedanta. And we saw Also 15.16 to 17 and 18. The summary in Vedanta. Vedanta Krit. No? Veda Videha Cham. Can you tell me in Vedanta? Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And also in the Bhagavad Gita, 13 point. ऋषिभिर बहुधा गीतम छंदोभि विविधे पृथक् ब्रह्म सूत्र पदश्चैव हेतुर्मद्भिर विनिश्चितम. So if you remember, in the 13th chapter, Krishna speaks Chandovi Brahma Sutra Hetumati Vinishchitam. So whatever I am going to speak now, Kshetra Vikara, it is spoken in the by the rishis in the Chandogya Upanishads, in the Brahma Sutras, and now he is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is also in one sense the Vedanta Prasthana, 13.5. So Bhagavad Gita is also Shruti Prasthana, Smriti Prasthana, and Nyaya Prasthana. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, is actually coming in the Smriti category, right? The Puranas and the Upapuranas and all that, And in the Shruti category are the four Vedas, but it is the essence of Shruti. And the Praman is Srimad Bhagavatam 1, 2, 3. Yasvanubhavam Akil Shruti Saram Ekam. And of course, it is Purana Guhyam. Purana Guhyam it is. And then it is Nyaya, Vedanta Sutra, because ultimately the Srimad Bhagavatam is a what? Commentary, natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Bhashoyam Brahma Sutra Nam. So Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is all three prasthana. So similarly is Bhagavad Gita. I hope you are able to follow because this word Vedanta came, na? The five causes are mentioned in Vedanta scriptures, Sankhya, whose purpose is to destroy karma, Kritante. So similarly, now he's presenting this Sankhya, which is Vedanta Darshan, by which there are five factors. He's giving that knowledge. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Adhishtanam tata karta karanam cha pratak vidam vividascha pratak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. These five factors are Atra Panchamam, the body, the false ego, Adhishtanam, Tata Karta. Adhishtanam is the body, false ego is the Karta, the senses of various types. Karanam cha pratak vidam, there are various senses. The life is and the various functions. Vivijascha pratak cheshta, cheshta is there, and the super soul, Daivam. Now let's say this, understand these five factors. Adhishtanam, Karta, Karanam cha vidik pratak vidam, and Vividascha pratak cheshta, and fifth is Daiva. Okay, five factors of action. Adhishtanam. I'm just giving this example of the arena or the place of action. Example, a pitch and ground. The cricket match is there. So the ground and especially the pitch where action is going to be performed. And the karta is the doer, the player. And karanam is his senses, the hands, legs, and eyes. Now, just think, there's a India-Pakistan match. And if you hit a 4, you lose because you need 5 runs to win. Only if you hit a 6, you're going to win. It is the last ball. The best of the ballers from Pakistan is bowling and the best of the batsmen is there. Just imagine the whole scene now. All the spectators are with full attention watching. And then what happens? The arena of action is what? The pitch and the ground. And the karta, the batsman is there. Karanam, his eyes, his legs, he will stand in a particular posture, all these 20 years of practice, what he has done in the net, now it's going to be tested. And Chesta is the endeavor. He will move the bat back and forth. His eyes are focused. Karanam, Vivida. Chesta is the bat. He'll move back and forth. Flexibility. His hands are holding the bat stiffly. And all that chesta he has done, endeavor for those 20 years of net practice, all will now be tested. So he ultimately, all these four factors are in his hand, right? All these four factors are in his hand. And the ball is put by the bowler. The pitch has to be, it's not that, because it is wet, it has to be firm, all that. And then ultimately, the ball is hit by the bat. And the ball up flies in the sky, going on the ground. And ultimately, here is the ring, and it goes out of the ring. Suddenly, it is a six. Now, if he understands that I am not only the doer, he will kneel down and thank God, because ultimately, Daiva sanction is required. If the ball had come out like this and it had fallen here, it was a 4 runs and not a six, then this person will sit down and become depressed. So both ways, are, ultimately, you have to see that Daiva sanction. Without Daiva sanction, although these four are in our hands, if Daiva sanction is not there, you cannot accomplish. So coincidences are God ways of staying anonymous, ultimately. Or it was good luck, all that, we might say all this, but ultimately there is a Daiva factor. Okay. The five causes are listed. Adhishtanam means the body which, performs action, karma. Karta means ahankar, which ties together the body with the soul. No? Note, Vishwanath does not include the jiva as the factor in action, because in the next verses, the Lord explains that jiva is not a doer. So that's why Vishwanath doesn't say, as jiva, the doer. Karna means the senses of many types, pratak, such as the eyes or ears. See, there are different eyes, the eyes are seeing, the ball, everything, like that. Cheshta refers to the life as such as pran and apan, which have various functions. Pratak, the hands and legs, ultimately the pranas, the movement is because of hands and legs, because of the pranas, like that. Daiva refers to Antarmay, who sets everything in motion. So ultimately the desire is there, perform, and then Antarami sets into motion. So I gave this example of the cricket, which makes it very clear. Okay. Sharirvan manobhiryat karma prarabate nara nyayam va vipiritam va panchaitani tasya hetava. These five panchaitan are the cause, hetava, of all actions. Tasya karma, both dharmic and adharmic. Nyayam va vipiritam va, that man performs. Prarabate nara, with his body, action, minds, and words. So you have to understand here that, when you want to accomplish any karma, any karma to accomplish, there has to be suitable sthana, the body or the yagistali or whatever it is. And, you have this desire to, ahankar, ego is there, that, I have to accomplish this, and then you need your instruments also, and you need to do chesta also, chesta. But ultimately, there has to be sanction of the Paramatma, Antaryami. And this is most, like you have the ability, you have the strength, but uh, still, if the sanction is not there, then you cannot accomplish. So this is for instigation of action. But also, you can see this in the external in the outer reality. I'm speaking of the inner reality internally and the outer reality. when the results come also, no, uh, there are these five factors involved. You know, Array, that six what he hit, na, ultimately it is because of all his years of endeavor. It's not that last bat, he's the first person who is first time catching the bat and he was able to do this. No, that's not possible. And then suppose, when he is about to hit, suddenly there is dust and his eyes get little blurred and he cannot see the ball, all that, if that happens, then the Daiva sanction is not there. So like that, all these factors, although he was very sharp in his uh, observation, but because of the dust, he could not accomplish. So in the results also, all these factors are there. And ultimately that his desire so strong to win, you know, that the Paramatma sanctions. So like that, both these factors. So the internal is little difficult to understand in the internal reality, how the Paramatma sanction is referred, set into motion. But externally, when some activities like this happen and, it was God's grace, Daiva factor, we can see that. Okay. So that is why these five are the causes, hetu, of all actions, tasya karma, both dharmic and adharmic. And that man performs prarabhati nara with his body, mind, and words. Okay. Actions are of three types: mana, vak, manobi, physical, vocal, and mental. These are all of two types. So these actions are two types, whether dharmic or the adharmic, nyayam or anyayam. There are five causes for all these actions. Hetava. These five causes are there for all these actions. Okay. Let me see what's the time. We have few more minutes, but yeah, we just finished this so that the next section we can take up. तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम् आत्मानं केवलयुः तु यः पश्यत् अकृत् बुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति दुर्मति. So these five are the causes of action. Tatra evam sati, the unintelligent fool, ya durmati, who because of not attaining that knowledge, akarta buddhitvat, sees only himself as doer. Pashyati atmanam kevalam kartaram, does not see. Na sa na pashyati, or na sa pashyati. You can put both ways also. So we had seen this Bhagavad Gita 3.27. Kartaham iti manyate. I have done it. When Prakriti is everything doing and the Lord has sanctioned. He doesn't see this two karta, other two doers, and he thinks kartaham. You know. So he's in ignorance. He does not see. He is akrita buddhitvat. He has not attained knowledge. But knowledge means to understand that there are these five actions. And ultimately, there's Paramatma sanction required. So one who doesn't see this, he is akrita buddhitvat. Then what happens? Though these five are causes of action, tatraivam, one who sees only that the self, the jiva, is a doer, though actually the jiva is not associated with action at all, does not see, being a fool, durmati, because of impure intelligence. Akrita buddhitvat. One may say that such a foolish person is blind. यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भाव बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हित्वापि स इमान् लोकान् सहन्ति न निबध्यते. He who does not think he is a doer, na yasya na ahankrito bhava, and is not attached to actions, thinking them good and bad. Buddhir yasya na lipyate. So sometimes, how can you understand that you don't have that sense of doership? Just see when the results come. If the result is good, arey wow, we got it done. I got it done, man. If the result is bad, arey why you did this wrong? Why you did all that? Because ahankar is affected, because that sense of doership is there. But you say ultimately, uh, results are to do with Krishna. Whether they are good or bad, Krishna is enjoying the results. It is for Krishna. So why I should get affected? I'm just a instrument. So that sense of non-doership is that it will come. So that's why he's not attached to actions, thinking them as good or bad. does not kill all these people. Sa imam lokan na hanti, even though he kills them hitvapi and is not contaminated by killing. Na nibaddate. So you can see in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, about the war, Krishna, many times there is acquisition, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to instigate Arjuna to do this, huge ghastly killing in the war. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is, sometimes taken as an extreme view. But Krishna here, you know, if you see about the war, in the second chapter, Krishna speaks about it. But in the second chapter also, only, when he's motivating Arjuna in 2.31 to 37 in the second chapter, if you see. And then, later on, when he speaks about Buddhi Yoga 2.39, there is no mention. And in fact, there is a lofty consciousness discussed of a Sthita Pragya from 2.55 to 2.27. 72, sorry. 2.7, 7.2. What is happening? Then Bhagavad Gita in the third chapter, uh, 3.30 is only one indirect reference you can say, Krishna speaks. And then in the Bhagavad Gita, fourth chapter, 4.41, I think it is. In the fifth chapter, there is no, verse which is speaking directly about war. Sixth chapter, there is nothing. 5, 6. In Bhagavad Gita, 7 to 12 chapters, except in the 11th chapter, Nimitta Matra Savesachi, nowhere the references come. Now come to Bhagavad Gita, 13 to 18 chapters, Jnana section, no anywhere Krishna is telling. But only in this verse, 18.17, he's speaking about killing, if you do this with, one who does not think he's a doer, like that. Because ultimately the war was a desire of Krishna, so that Paritranaya Sadhana Vinashya. So, and he wanted Arjuna to become an instrument. So that is pure devotional service. So in that sense, uh, in very few occurrences, but it is speaking about lofty consciousness of pure devotional service, which will come in the last portion of the Bhagavad Gita. So that's what Krishna is saying. Who then is intelligent with good eyes? One who does not have the nature of ahankar, ahankrita bhava, who's not thinking himself the doer, who's not attached to actions by thinking that action will give good or bad results. Yes, buddhir na lipate, does not obtain reactions of karma. So Arjuna as a conditioned soul, he's not a conditioned soul, but is thinking, what good result is coming from this war, There's opposite result. Viparitani Keshava, Na Sukam Ra, Na Rajam, all that, he spoke like that. What else can be said? Though he may be pious, though he may do pious or sinful acts, he does not do them. So you might consider the war as a sinful act, but he is not getting sinful reactions when he is in this mode. Though it may appear from ordinary vision that he has killed all these living beings, he does not kill from his own vision because he has no motive for action. Therefore, he is not bound. He does not receive the reactions of karma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has commented only on this verse up till now we can see. In the first verse also he had commented, "O Arjuna, you are only in illusion about this battle because of your false ego. Had you been aware that the five factors I have described are the causes of all action, you would not have become so bewildered. Actually, this action is instigated by Paramatma. And Arjuna's karnas, cheshta, and the sthana. Krishna has chosen the sthana, in fact, by Allah. So he's supposed to utilize, and then he is not going to get nibaddate. He will not get bound. Therefore, those whose intelligence is not implicated by the false ego of being a doer do not kill, even if they kill all of humanity, nor do they become bound by the results of such killing. So that's what Krishna explains. Now, the Gyan of the Karma Yoga 2 is a very important and a long section, which will at least take 2-3 classes. Let us see that we will take it up next time. But any questions, any clarifications you have up till now? Yes, Navneet Kalra Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just a little query, the three doers which we read earlier, and now it's five. Could you little bit elaborate on that one? Because there it was Prakriti and
So, see, basically, uh, here there is a knowledge that in order to accomplish action, there are 5 factors involved.
okay.
Hmm. 5 factors involved. Among the 5 factors, you can see there is the living being, because all the, you know,
That
the
is the desiring doer.
Karanam, Cheshta, you know, you know, Karta, they are all the living entity, right?
So that is the desiring doer, no?
Yes, yes, he is there. But ultimately, there is the Lord who is Paramatma. Mhm. So there is that. And ultimately, where you're going to execute it, it's all these is made of Prakriti, that is not, but here the analysis is from a different perspective. There are these 3 doors, and understanding that knowledge, you have to understand that, it's not only you, the Karta, but, to accomplish results, there are these 5 factors involved. There are these 5 factors. So if you have not done Chesta throughout your life, it's not that you'll accomplish results. The Chesta is also required, right? And ultimately, you keep on doing Chesta, but Daiva sanction is not there. Then you cannot accomplish, right? So sometimes in Ayurveda, especially in Ayurvedic treatments, especially a very good Vaidya also has astrology knowledge. And he keeps on trying the medicine on the patient for a long time, for months, and it's still not sitting and the disease is not getting cured. Then he will go into astrology and see, oh, ultimately based on karma, the Daiva factor is not getting sanctioned. So, although he's endeavoring, he's doing chesta, but Daiva sanction, then he might say, you have to just tolerate this disease, and live it throughout your life, so like that. So the results which accomplish, what are the factors, you know, that's why it's not only you alone. Of course, there are other factors involved. So that is what is the focus here of the analysis. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, it's about the field of action.
Yes, in
In
the
the
field of
field of
action, there are
action,
these factors involved.
these factors involved, and those
But
were the doers from the doer
there are the
bus,
doers
like from the
also,
false ego.
but the living entity alone is not the doer. Like, in the Puranas, there are these 3 things mentioned instead of 5. Of course, within that 3 also the 5 included. I don't recollect now. It's long time I had heard. There is the farmer who tills the land. He does, the field is there for the farmer. He tills the land, uh, plows it and then sows the seed, you know. And then there is, he has to wait. But ultimately, there is a diver factor in the form of rains. That is not in our hands to get the results in the form of crops. So, like that, there are 3 factors mentioned. Within that 3 also, there are 5. So there is a daiva there. I don't recollect. Let me find out once
Hmm.
again. Where it is mentioned in Puran. So like that, in order to accomplish results, the daiva factor is there, along with all these other factors, other 4 factors which are uh, which are having some connection with the individual, because the karana, cheshta, and the karta is there. Okay.
Yes. I can ask.
Sorry. Yeah, you can ask. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, there was this mention of, in Adhishtan about Jiva. That in one of the slides, I did get that Jiva is not mentioned here.
Adhishtan is not Jiva. The Karta is not the Jiva. Karta is the Ahankar. Here, Karta means Ahankar, which ties the soul with the body. Vishwanath does not include the Jiva as a factor in action because in the next verses, the Lord explains that Jiva is not the doer. So that's why he doesn't include the Jiva. That's what he says.
So Adhishtan is the place or the
Adhishtan means
body.
the body. No, Adhishtan means the body or the place where action is to be performed. Arena or the place of action.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Just like a person takes a rod and kills a snake. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you see the action is done by the body. The instruments
Yeah.
are the hands.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he has a desire to kill it,
Mhm.
This is not favorable or something like that.
Yeah.
But then, and, it might escape also, but you might kill it. So Daiva sanction is also there. So that reactions he has to suffer then for it, for doing that. Right?
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, like that, these factors are there. Okay, Tukaram Prabhuji, last question. Veer Krishna also has a question. Tukaram Prabhuji is first we will take up. Yes, Tukaram Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhamma.
Yes.
These 5 factors, how they are, related to free will, one's free will.
5 factors, how they are related to free will. See, free will, you have to understand that the jiva can will anything. Okay.
Yeah.
And based on the desire, like I'll give you an example so that it becomes clear. Like I knew one friend of mine who, you know, who had a desire to actually settle in Australia. He was highly educated and he was trying to get into some institute, you know. So this is the desire.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of endeavor. That is the stan he wants to go. And in this stan here, he has to endeavor. He has to go to the visa office, apply, do the chesta, write those exams, this, that. But ultimately, you know, the sanction was not happening. And he was not getting.
Yeah.
So, the as long as the sanction doesn't happen, it's not, uh, it's not sanctioned. So you might endeavor. So
Yeah.
now free will and destiny, like
Different.
once, okay, the the desire is sanctioned,
Yeah.
then your karmic actions are activated and the reactions to that also will come accordingly.
Okay.
So while desiring you have the free will, but once it is sanctioned by the Paramatma, then you will have to take up the consequences,
Right.
reaction, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm just giving an example from my own personal experience that at certain point, uh, when I was about to take a career, you know, uh, of spiritual life, or I can postpone it for some time and continue with my education somewhere abroad, take up a job abroad, which had opened up. Now, at that point, I have the free will,
Okay.
thinking that, this is the actions I'll have to do there, and this is the austerity or tapasya I'll have to do here. And now I have the free will to choose between these two, and based on the choice also I make, Paramatma might sanction or not sanction. So once I do that choice, then I'm locked. Like if I'd chosen, like, okay, let me go abroad, and then the karma, what kind of life I'm leading, and my habits and all the reactions and my whole course of my entire soul's journey, we don't know in what direction it will go. Huh? So that is
Yes.
why we need to evaluate, you know, uh, our our activities based on these factors. Okay, now uh, my kshetra will be a temple where I'll be doing actions, and then that will generate spiritual activities, and then I'll become free from reactions. So like that. So ultimately, the choice is there to the free will, and Paramatma, depending on the desire of the jiva, he will, facilitate that. And when it comes to the spiritual life, actually, he is guiding internally as a Paramatma and externally as a spiritual master. Like that, we have to see that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Bir Krishnaji, yes. Last question. Time is up. It's quite late. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam.
Mhm.
Prabhu, this aham bhava, it is very innate nature of the jivan. Prabhu. It is just matter whether it is true ego or false ego.
It's a false ego, Ahankar.
Ah,
I
no,
am,
but the jiva can have a true ego also, no? I mean,
yeah,
aham
jiva
bhava
can
is.
have a true ego.
So my point is ki ego is very innate nature of the jiva.
Correct.
Whether it is false or whether it is false
No,
or
no,
true.
no. False ego is not the innate nature of the jiva. It's the acquired
But
nature.
no,
Upadhi,
my point is true.
avidya.
Ego is innate nature of jiva.
No, 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 no. See,
True ego.
false ego is true ego is the innate nature of the jiva.
True
The
ego.
natural dharma of the soul is to do pure devotional service, which is a jaiva dharma.
So my
But
point is true ki once jiva takes up this false ego, identifies with false ego, then he also, because he is identifying with false ego, where all identification comes, so he becomes part of the. I mean, he is responsible for the activity. No, Prabhu.
correct, correct. That is what is
So he
again very
becomes
clear.
one of the doer. No, how he is though because of false ego, but he is responsible. No, so
Correct. That's what is responsible.
how do we isolate? I mean, the jiva with the false ego.
That is
Here,
what, why this whole, see, basically you have to understand karma. What karma does is, there is gyan. There is gyan that, the gyan is given, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. But when you start doing action, you know, uh, if you do actions with the desire for the fruits, then there is a soul, there is a gross body and the subtle body. When you do actions with the desire for results, the the thickening of the connection of the soul and the body, both gross and subtle, becomes more strong.
yes, yes.
But when you act in knowledge and perform such nishkam karma yoga, then this gets slackened. And then the separation happens, when you're free from this gross and subtle, that is mentioned, explained in the fifth chapter. So it's all by knowledge, and knowledge and realization as it comes. So then you understand, and you can, when a person speaks, you can understand.
Right,
Okay, so thank you
right.
very, very much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrit ki jai, Hare Krishna.